working? Pretty good. Am I quiet? Right. Can't tell if anyone's here yet. It's been a minute since I've done this. I think we got a couple people watching. Hello. Can you hear me? I'm actually worried that my audio might be a little unbalanced. I'm looking at these levels. Yeah, okay, hold on. That should be a little better, hopefully. Hopefully a little better. Still a little bit quiet. It's okay. Cool. All right. Well, you can do it. Oh, this is a bad cable. I need to use a different cable. Give me a second. That's not going to work. Okay. Now we've lost our audio. Cool. That's why. Technology. Cool, cool. Applying to grad school soon. Any advice? First of all, hello. Um, Good luck. It's very difficult. The job market is horrendous. Do it if and only if um, you really you're really committed to it. I mean, I did. I know most of my best friends are also grad students or former grad students, and I don't certainly regret it at all. But it's a really difficult thing to do. It is a huge commitment. Definitely don't go to any program that's not fully funded. You shouldn't pay a cent for graduate education. Um, and Yeah, I would say do it if you are comfortable with the idea of spending many years on something for its intrinsic value or benefit, without there being any certainty on the other side that you'll get a job out of it. If you're doing it to get a job, it's a mistake. If you're doing it because you're in love with a subject matter and you want to learn, and that'll be good enough for you, then go for it. Mechanical advice, I don't know. Have people, second sets of eyes are very important, right? Have people read over your letters. Um, have people look at your application materials. I don't know why it's being like this. Hopefully that stops. This is not a good cable either. I'm frustrated. Hold on. I hope that made sense. Let me know if that was the sort of answer you were looking for. Hello, hello. This is... I'm very frustrated right now. Apologies. Apologies, everyone. Hello, Leonard. Had a better cable that I set aside for this purpose, and I can't find it now. It's probably my fault. Yeah, let's see if that works. Here we go. How are the sound levels? Can you hear things properly? Sound is good. Cool. Thank you. So yeah, this is it. This is the seaside. Celeste, for those of you who haven't played it, has standard levels, 7 of them, and then it has like what they call B-sides, which are these like extra challenging remixes essentially of the levels. And once you've beaten all of those, surprise, there's C-sides. So we're on chapter 2's seaside for Celeste. And let's go ahead and take a look at what this level involves, because it lets you see. Yeah, so you can see this is all very normal, very good, very cool, very chill. You know, a feasible, acceptable thing. Yeah, sure. Fuck it. Yeah. Why not, you know? Okay. So wild. And the music just keeps getting better and better too. They actually literally have remixes of the standard soundtrack. It's so good. Got a couple people in the chat. Who else is here? Sound off, folks. Hello, Azar. Oh, I should also do this. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna drop this in the Discord. Let the Discord people know what's what. Some of you will also be Discord people. And some of you will not. Some of you will need... Some of you do not already give me money. Some of you do, for which thank you. So kind of a nice rainy little Sunday action here in Chicago, by which I mean there's a flood warning, and internet got knocked out for a bit. Pretty standard, pretty cool, very chill. Getting texts from my mother. She's good, thanks for asking. You're gonna get it. You're gonna, by the way, this is what the stream is gonna be. You people can ask me questions about philosophy if you'd like. I will talk about it. And then you will watch me die on this single screen 400 times in a row. Okay? That's what we've got on the docket today. If I manage to beat it, we'll move on to the 3rd seaside, which I certainly will also die on 1,000 times. So, I hope you're good with this. This is what you signed up for today. Just send another link out. Sharing stuff with the homies. Hey, Queen's dead. Congrats to everyone everywhere. Yeah, Irish Twitter's been amazing this week. We love to see it. Fuck a monarch, you know. So hard. I am a glutton for punishment, though. Caribbean Twitter has been having a ball. We love to see it. post-colony Twitter, former colony Twitter has been just having a party. It's the best. It is nuts that like of course it would happen like this because this is how Twitter works. Sorry, I got excited. It bifurcates everything into immediate partisan camps, but it has been very funny to see people be like, "Oh, like how could you be so mean? Oh no, they're having a time of mourning. Be kind, give them some grace." It's like grace that the leading imperial power. They colonized the world. No, no. There's pictures of her. There's pictures of her like holding swords and literally lording power over like her colonized subjects in Yemen in the 1950s. She spent the 90s trying to convince Princess Diana not to take the HIV crisis seriously. Go to hell. Reparations when? As soon as possible. Reparations now. Reparations immediately. Oh, I got it. Oh, I got it. Oh my god, I did it, everyone. Okay. Don't panic. Here we go. Damn it. Ah. Question from the chat is, do you read any critical animal studies? I have not read any critical animal studies. I don't really know what that means, to be honest. I'm not sure what that means. Can you name any texts or any authors? Is there anything in particular that I should know about? I'm gonna change something too. Hold on. Log in. No, I don't read any. I haven't read any critical animal studies stuff. Might like it. I don't know. There's like a chance that I'd like it, and there's a chance that I'd think it is very silly. To be completely honest with you. When do they hide? Yes, I want them to hide after 30 seconds. Great. Okay, that should have done what I wanted it to do. Anti-animal exploitation, presumably, that is what it is about, at least in part. I'm sure there's also work done on, the human-animal distinction, which is, a fairly leaky binary. We are animals, in fact. If the question is one of anti-animal exploitation, I'm not like a hardline vegetarian or vegan type person. I do think that like factory farming is extremely brutal in ways that ought to be abolished, right? Which is a function of the mode of production, not the fact of eating animals. I think it is fine to eat animals. I would eat people, like Alex Jones, my hero, if it came to that. I embark in grad school and philosophy journey. Is there anything to tell my close friends and family? Tell them you love them. Hopefully they're supportive people. Hopefully they're supportive, and they will be supportive of you. And, that's it, essentially. Maybe they will be cool and supportive, and maybe not. It's kind of tricky. Rebooting this. Hold on. Sorry, I cleared the chat. It should be coming back. I don't know. Like I said, let them know that you. The question was, what do you tell your friends and family now that you're starting your philosophy journey? I don't know. Try not to be a jerk. People can be jerks about the fact that they work on, intense theory or whatever. You're not better than anyone else just because you happen to be learning this stuff. Your grandmother's support is a professor, so she's been super supportive, which rubbed off on your mom. Excellent, great. Let them know that it's going to take you a long time and it's not going to be maybe exactly what you were, it might not be the most lucrative path, and that's okay. I'm going to beat this thing. People are going to watch me beat this. I'm getting there. I need to buy a new computer. This computer can barely handle what I'm putting it through right now, and this isn't that taxing, frankly. My computer just is not good. Got it second hand 2 years ago. Like I said, this is fun. Watching me just die in the same way 1,000 times in a row. Obviously, this is my style. This is my type, right? Because I also play the Souls games in the same way. So close. So close. Is there any particular kind of philosophy that you are into or which you are hoping to study? Okay, we got this far before. This is as far as we've gotten. Nadia Yvette Chambers says, "Is this an ad?" No. I don't know what that question means. This is not an advertisement. This is a live stream where I am answering questions about philosophy and playing an extremely difficult video game. T. McGeo, don't know, is into existential phenomenology, critical philosophy of race, critical theory, Marxism. Very cool. All good stuff. Presumably you've got an idea for where you'd want to study already, but I think I can recommend on the basis of that Penn State and Emory, maybe U Oregon, are all pretty good places to work on a bunch of that stuff. Come on. Nadia says, "I don't usually see people play video games." Oh, well, that's what's happening here. We can treat it like an ad if you'd like. Everyone should play Celeste, this game that I am playing, which is very, very good. T says those are the schools you had in mind. Great. Okay. Let's go. Gonna get it. Honestly, the live stream here is literally just because I was like, I'm gonna just sit here and do this all day anyway. I may as well answer questions if anyone's gonna talk. Let's see here. How are we doing? I will say that another thing to consider if you're thinking about those programs in particular is to think about where you'll literally be as well. I'm sorry to say that these things end up making a big difference. Part of the reason I had as good a time as I did in graduate school is certainly because I was in Chicago, which is just an amazing place. Um, Emory should be a draw of that list for you, insofar as it's in Atlanta, an extremely good and cool place. Um, Penn State's a great program, and it's in kind of a terrible spot, like geographically. It's kind of not particularly fun to be there. Just something to think about. Something to think about. With going into academia in general, going to graduate school is one step in that process. You're choosing a whole form of life for yourself. It's not just, I want to study X thing. It is that, but it's also like, who are my people going to be? Where am I going to spend my time? What's it going to look like for the next 10 years, longer sometimes, that's stuff you got to consider. I'm gonna get the timing on that. Once you get one, you're gotta do like 3 in a row too, which is brutal. You almost had it. You're from Philly, you're used to a city, you've thought about the geographical aspect. Good. Yeah, good. Philly's a great town, I love Philly. I did my undergraduate at Villanova, so I didn't get into the city as often as I wanted, but I always had a good time in Philly. Oh, you can't panic, you can't rush, which is what I'm doing. Oh, that should have done it. Okay, that's what I needed to do. Sorry, I just deleted your message the moment you posted. MDR writes, "Hi, this is quite cool what you're doing. Any chance I can ask you something about something related to a logical fallacy?" Yes, please do. Hopefully I can answer it. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. So close. So close. Almost had it. I got it this time. This time I'm gonna do it. Watch. Okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So close. So close. Okay, I got it. Got it this time, watch. Okay, next time. Next time I got it, Let's go. Oh, missed. Unbelievable. I'm so close, though. Can you feel it? Can you feel that I am about to have a victory? Can you tell? Okay, next time I'm going to have a victory. Next time it's going to be when that happens. You know? What happened here? Oh, is it working? Okay. Okay, yeah. For a minute I thought it wasn't. MDR asks, what type of logical fallacy is the statement? X makes statement Y. X then declares, as long as no one has refuted his statement or argument Y, it will stand as true indefinitely. I mean, well, I think I see. So the question is, what sort of fallacy is it when someone declares that what they've said is true just because it hasn't been refuted? Is that the idea? Do I have that right? Second. Let's go. Just wrapping your head around such hubris. That is, so yeah, the question is, what type of logical fallacy is it? Hubris of the person making the statement, not you. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I am hubristic. I'm on here playing Celeste Seasides, trying to talk about philosophy and logical fallacies. Obviously, I think I am God and want to kill God. To kill God in order to become him. Or her. Feminists. So the thing is anyone can make any kind of statement at all at any time. And that doesn't necessarily make it true, right? I could say that, just to be very silly about it, that the sky is red. And that doesn't mean it's true. Presumably, a true statement is understood to be so on the basis of either an empirical observation or a logically valid argument, right? Some kind of consistent argument has been made that is meant to guarantee the truth of the claim. So simply making a statement doesn't allow anyone to have the ability to say that it's therefore true until proven otherwise. I know people do this. It's a very common... It's not... Yeah, what kind of fallacy is it, I guess was your initial question, because we know it's a fallacy. I'm thinking, for instance, of the reactionary dinguses who will kind of make it seem like or operate as though, right, if someone doesn't produce a direct counter argument to their claim, that therefore what they've said is right or true enough and we can work with it, or that, rhetorically their listeners, viewership, or audience ought to take what they've said as true because no one has produced a counter argument to them. That's definitely fallacious. It's rhetorically effective. The problem, I guess, too, on the other side is that I am not of the opinion that it actually is worth it to make the argument against them a lot of the time. I think that wrong is wrong, and we don't need to waste our time and breath. Our energies are better spent elsewhere. Gotta get the angle on that right. But for instance, I was thinking about this with regard to the recent, I guess one could call it a documentary, that Matt Walsh thing, that piece of shit, the what is a woman thing, right? Which is just trans hateful rhetoric, anti-trans rhetoric. So close. He basically wants to make it seem as though, no one who is into trans rights or who thinks critically about gender, that they're so out of touch, right? That they're so out of touch that they've lost sight of basic reality. None of them can tell us what a woman is, but we all know what a woman is, right? And so if no one's able to provide a satisfying counterclaim to his presumed claim, his ostensible claim, then I guess he must be right, and the left must be crazy. It's nonsense. It's also, anyone who's actually thought about this can tell you, obviously, that the what is a woman question is much harder to answer than he'd like us to pretend it is. And that's not because we're, lunatic, progressive academics who have lost sight of reality, but because it's a complicated thing, gender, and socially, historically variable, and doesn't have anything to do with the things they want it to be about, namely biological reproduction or having a specific set of fucking gametes. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Who is the best? Me. I'm God. Fuck you. Let's go. How long did that take us? Let's see how long we've been streaming. 40 minutes. Did it. Kristen, thank you for the yay. Can I name? Says, hi, new to the live streams, above the podcast. Thanks for the work y'all do. Thank you. Out of curiosity, any takes on the Invisible Committee considering starting the coming insurrection? I don't have a ton of love, to be honest with you. You know, some of it's fine. I found it very provocative at a certain time in my life. And I just don't, I don't know. There's a lot of very, I think, I want to give the anarchist, like, theoretical set and, you know, actual anarchists and insurrectionists, like, you know, I want to give them their flowers. I tend not to have very much anarchism in me. Oh, great. How do you time this? Okay. We're all seeing these screens together for the first time, by the way. That's part of what's fun about this. Yeah, I mean, the coming insurrection's fun. This stuff is fun. They draw on Agamben's sort of form of life analysis in ways that I suppose are interesting. I, like, don't disagree with the need for, you know, actual on-the-ground political organization and carving out spaces for living otherwise than would be mandated by the dictates of capital and the state. That's all good. That's all good. But Invisible Committee and Tikkun, I don't know, a lot of it loses me. Coming Insurrection is probably the text of theirs that I dislike the least. I think it's fine. I very much don't like, although I've heard someone make a halfway decent argument for why it's better than I'm giving it credit, but I really don't like Theory of the Young Girl. I don't know what to do with much of the Bloom stuff. Introduction to Civil War, it's okay. It's okay. It's not so bad. We might do a podcast about them at some point, and I'm afraid it's going to end up being one of our dunk ones. It's going to be tough for us to maintain our charity, although we try to be charitable with everyone. All right, I don't even know how to start here. Let's just go for it. Perfect. Getting off to a good run. How? Okay. Gotten a little bit farther. Okay. Thanks for always down for a dunk, and thanks for the answer. Good. Yeah. Is Invisible Committee different from Tikkun? I mean, they're both pseudonymous, but I believe there is at least overlap between them. I believe. I mean, they write very similarly, and I'm pretty sure Agamben is in at least one of the outfits. It's not the right approach. How do you do this? This is crazy. Okay, that's the rhythm. Okay. But now I gotta get a... Okay. I got it figured out. Come on. This game is easy. It's for babies. Such an easy game. How dare you? Okay, that's fine. No, that's okay. How do I get it to go down? Can I get it to go down? Oh, it will. Yeah, nice. Cute. This is a bop, dude. You hear this? I think that there are, like I said, I think that there are like, oh, come on. I think that there are probably other anarchists who I would rather do episodes on for the pod, just because I don't like the reason I think that it would be a dunk is because I think there's a real aesthetic character to a lot of what they're doing. It's very stylish, you know, and I don't know. There's a line Zizek said during Occupy. He was like, please, 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 you're all doing it's very important what you're doing here. Don't fall in love with yourselves. And I think about that a lot. And I think, maybe this is uncharitable, but I think that a lot of the Invisible Committee people, or Invisible Committee types, or Tikkun types, they might be a little bit in love with themselves. Do I have an opinion on whether everyone should be able to have nukes? No one should have nukes. Nuclear weapons are insane. It's insane that they exist and that we have them. And I suppose that in as much as the US is going to continue to have them, that other countries that would otherwise be even further subject to imperial pressures, if they want to have them, I guess, fine. In my world, there wouldn't be any nuclear weapons anywhere. I don't think anyone should have them. I think they should all be dismantled. It's a travesty that they exist at all. Is there a Fanon episode in the works? There ought to be. I'm sure we will do one. He's very important to all of our ways of thinking. My brain is wrong about this because I can't. Obviously, Fanon very important for Will. It's like, a big deal for him. But for me and Owen too, and Lillian, I know, very sympathetic. We all buy the claims. The essential rightness of revolutionary violence, that of the oppressed against the oppressor, that it is transformative, that it's the crucible of a new humanism. Yeah, that's just right. How do I get over there? Oh wait, can I do this? What? I forgot about that move. Okay. I'm cheating a little bit here. I also think that, there's the wretched stuff. Okay, wait. But I really love Black Skin, White Masks. It's an amazing, amazing book. This is not how you're supposed to do it, but I'm gonna make it work. Okay, wait. I gotta time it differently. Okay. That's how I'm gonna time it. I taught chapter 2 of Wretched at one point, Grandeur and Weakness of Spontaneity, and that was a kind of wild decision, if I'm being honest. He's also just an incredibly rich thinker in ways that aren't as well often taken seriously. His diagnostic of colonial psychopathology. Close. Another banger, dudes. Y'all hearing this? Just straight up missed the platform. Pretty cool. A lot of people ignore the stuff after chapter 1 on violence, and I understand why. The violence stuff is extremely sexy, but he's an incredible thinker. He's also a really good engagement with Hegel, with Marx, in the later chapters of Black Skin, White Masks. This is so hard, by the way. What's the normal way to do this? I can't even consistently get past this first guy up here. This is wildly difficult. I don't even know how I'm supposed to do this. Because I can't do this, right? That's not gonna work. The Hegel chapter had me really to learn Hegel. Hopefully wanting to learn Hegel. Totally. Absolutely. I mean, it's a really good critique, right? So in the early 20th century, early to mid 20th century, let's say, there are really two Hegels in the French scene, in the French academia. Try to get on the second platform first. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Okay. Can't. Okay. Yeah, there's two Hegels really in the early 20th century in the French academic scene. One of which is Kojel's and the other is Hippolyte's. And Jean Hippolyte is the one who's responsible for the... I'm sorry, Kojève. Kojève is the one who's responsible for the emphasis, the strong emphasis on the master-slave dialectic. The master-slave dialectic is this whole account that we get in the Phenomenology of Spirit about... How do I get over there? So close. About the way that recognition works in constituting subjectivity. So this is dialectic of recognition, and essentially there's this story that gets told, according to which the master is the master by owning the slave, by having servants, but then they require, so the story goes, but they require, so the story goes, right, recognition of the slave as being master, right? They can't just be autonomously master by themselves. They need to be recognized as such by the slave or the servant. Thus, in fact, in this game of recognition, the servant has a kind of surprising mastery over the master, right? We have a reversal. Yeah, true. Now that was, like I said, this is something that a lot of early 20th century French Hegelians, Marxists take seriously as maybe one of the core key insights of Hegel's in the phenomenology, this sort of recognition play, this recognition dialectic. And oh, come on. I'm not getting the timing on this at all. Fanon comes along and says yeah, that's all great. And indeed, yeah, the master needs the slave in order to get recognition. Except they don't give a shit about recognition. What do they want? What they want, he says, is our labor. And for that, you don't need recognition at all. It doesn't matter if anyone recognizes you. If you're exploiting their labor, that's what matters. It's a really good point. It's a good materialist rejoinder. I mean, I was thinking about this too in the context again of like, you know, these freak monarchs and imperial bootlickers completely losing their shit about the death of a heinous old woman in the past couple of days. Because they don't... It, like, Hegel does have a point too, though, right? Because, like, the materials shit's not enough for them, ever. Come on! It's never enough. They also want their recognition. They do. It's not enough just to have, you know, plundered $42 trillion from the Indian subcontinent. They need to be recognized as the masters. They do. There is something about that jouissance, you know? Like it's not enough to have like stolen fucking diamonds out of Africa. You need them to recognize you as their betters. Like, and the fucking monarchs and aristocrats are like that. Like, Hegel's got a point. Okay, how do I get this timing on? Okay. Beat that fucking screen. Jesus. Alright. Seems like all of the seasides have only 3 screens, so let's see what we got going on here. How? Good lord. Okay. T says very true. Fano in this regard is like Marx trying to inject some materialism into Hegel. Totally. Fano, good Marxist, good dialectician, by the way. Oh god, and he's coarse. God damn it. Great, this is gonna be so hard. My word, folks. Okay. Boy, oh boy. It's like old school Shinobi and Mega Man side scroller. Yeah. Yeah. So hard. The music is very Mega Man, actually. This remix. Oh my god. Okay, okay. Oh, can I get it? Can I get back? Can I get back? Oh my god, I did it. Okay, I need to bounce off him. Oh, no, no. Okay. This ain't that hard. It's not that difficult. Come on. Why are you all saying I can't do it? Stop it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to gaslight you. Shit. Tough. Gotta get that timing down. Synth line. That's synth just going for it. And other Hegel, by the way, not Kojève's, but Hippolyte's, is the basis for a very different sort of philosophical approach, where one of the critiques that gets made of Kojève's Hegel, probably rightly, is that whole story that I just told, the master-slave dialectic, is that it's like a humanist. There's like a humanism there. Now, like, it's not a simple humanism in the sense of like, oh, we're positing a human essence. Hegel's too smart for that. But there might be something like correct about thinking that Hegel at least himself thought, if you read instead of the Phenomenology as the main text of Hegelian philosophy, the Science of Logic, that, you know, it has less to do with, you know, Geist, human history, human beings realizing themselves or what have you. Might have more to do with, I don't know, the nature of the idea being reality as such. In light of which, like, you know, a human need for recognition might not be so significant after all. I tend to agree with this more structuralist, anti-humanist Hegel over the humanist reads. But again, this is the sort of theoretical context in which Fanon is making his intervention in reading Hegel, right? He's looking at all of these French thinkers making a huge deal out of the dialectic of recognition, and he's like, y'all, like, nice, but you're actually you've lost the plot if you think that what masters care about is being recognized. It's just not their main dealie. It's not their main thing. This cable is giving me trouble. I'm sorry for that. It's like, it's making the music cut out. Let's go, let's go. Okay. So close. So close. It's no coincidence that out of Kojève we get the phenomenologists like Ponty and Sartre, and out of Hippolyte we get post-structuralists like Deleuze. Exactly correct. It's exactly correct. In fact, that divergence can indeed be read as a difference of which Hegel you get, which Hegel we're working with here. Even so, it's interesting to realize, right, that like, you know, Deleuze's first book on Hume is meant, I think, as a response to Hippolyte, who thinks, you know, he's a good Hegelian that he is, that empiricism is, you know, unsatisfying on its own, perhaps, you know, has its philosophical truth content, but which has been superseded, what have you. And that, you know, certainly there's like nothing left for Hume to teach us after Kant. This is a fairly standard position amongst the German idealists. And Deleuze's first book in 1953 is the Hume book, because I think he's explicitly saying to Hippolyte, to whom the book note is dedicated, that actually, no, there's more to empiricism, more to Hume than you realize, you know, with all of your good Hegelian triads. Now, I have also quite often said that I think the Deleuzian sort of beef with Hegel and with dialectics is overstated. Okay, let's go. So close. You know, Deleuze is the most charitable reader of everyone in the history of philosophy until he gets to Hegel, and then he just starts saying all this wild shit that's just like, brother, we're not reading the same book, I'm sorry. I just don't know why he hated it so much. But he did, he hated it. Ooh. So hard. This is a hard game, y'all. What's up with this game being so hard, huh? Okay, let's go. Now, does Lefebvre come out of the Hippolyte style? That is a good question. I actually don't know who Lefebvre's teachers were. I mean, as I understand, he was also coming, I think, more out of sociology, if I'm not mistaken. But that's curious. That's an interesting question. I'd actually like to look into that. I don't have a definitive answer for you. Game hard, but also let me literally explain the French Hegel reception while playing type flex. That's my life. That's who I am. I came here to kill God, I told you. I wish I knew more Lefebvre. I've only read a little bit. He's got that very odd book, Rhythm Analysis, if I'm not mistaken. And he's got a book on dialectics, too. I should read more of him. I don't know. It seems interesting. I think he was a sort of background, interestingly, right? We just did our De Boer episode. I think he was a kind of background figure for De Boer's sort of, and the other situationists with their psychogeography, I think, comes out of an engagement with like Lefebvre's way of thinking. And in general, I just think it's fascinating to be attentive to, you know, in a materialist way, like literal, you know, urban planning and architecture has something to do with what life as lived ends up looking like. Idiot, I'm a moron, stupid. Okay. Oh, no. It's okay. This is good. I like it, actually. That's what I wanted it to happen. Oh boy, a lot of deaths on this one, folks. Can't wait to find out what my count is. When I do beat it, I am gonna beat it. Who is the best ancient philosopher? Lucretius. Or Zhuangzi. Probably Zhuangzi, actually. I think it's probably Zhuangzi. You have to love Zhuangzi. If you read Zhuangzi, you love him. That is the rule. There's no one in the world capable of reading Zhuangzi and not being, like, really into it. Just don't happen. Am I a fan of UBI? 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 Universal Basic Income? Yes. Presumably. Of course, the difficulty with UBI, it's not Aristotle. I dislike Aristotle. I hate reading Aristotle. I know he's smart. I do not enjoy reading Aristotle. The problem with universal basic income a lot of the time is that like libertarian types like it as like part of a broader sort of social program that involves eliminating welfare programs. Now, I think that that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I'm certainly not in favor of like UBI so that we don't have to like have fucking public schools or healthcare, right? I'm full welfare state person. I think these things ought to be just provided. But also that, yeah, UBI on top of that makes a lot of sense to me. You know, presumably we're not transitioning to stateless communism anytime in the immediate future. Let's go ahead and say that seems plausible. Sorry to say. Given that, right? I think once people's like basic needs are met, right? Housing, food, healthcare, education, all of which should be provided free of charge. Universal, unconditional provision to all on the basis of progressive taxation. On top of that, a UBI makes sense. And part of the reason why a UBI makes sense on top of that is because, as we've discussed in some other episodes, we talked about this in the Boggs episode, for instance. You know, I get into fights with people on Twitter about this sort of thing sometimes, but like, I do not think that we need more work. It is bananas to me that I would have to make an argument like this as an out-and-out leftist, right? But there are people who seem to think that it is the case that we need more labor, we need more productivity. I just don't agree. I think especially given developments in the mode of production, in the technical composition of capital, in increasing automation, in increased productivity due to the increasing in intensity of the division of labor, and owing to economies of scale, that we make enough, we produce enough shit, right? Labor productivity is like at an all-time high. Now, what does that mean? Well, among other things, it means that the basic way in which we have, you know, the system of wage labor, right? The fact that we've tied our income, which is to say that by which we gain access to things like means of subsistence and then also, yeah, luxuries, to waged work is it's a mistake, right? In other words, especially given the increasing degrees of automation, like, there's just not as much need for everyone to work so fucking much. We can still produce as much or more total social value that as is needed to satisfy everyone's wants, needs, and desires in excess of necessity. So, right, a UBI then makes sense. Okay, I need to think about timing here. I need to think about timing real fast. Damn it. It's okay. Okay, wait. I want to actually look ahead. Because what comes after that? I don't want to get there and be blindsided. It's going to move. When I hit the button, the platform is going to move. So I need to like grab onto it and then see where it takes. I don't know where it's going to take me. Kirsten says, agree, we need to decrease production of everything. Potentially. I just think that production would look very, very different. Like total social production, individual industrial sectors, it would all look very different if production were organized around the satisfaction of desires and not maximal profitability and capital accumulation. It just would look different. I don't exactly know what it would look like. I do not buy. So this is I'm thinking here of like Lee Phillips. Lee Phillips makes these sorts of arguments about how like you know, under socialism, we'd be producing even more, we'd be even more productive. And it's like, I don't know that that's true. I don't know why I would accept that. I'm also not sure that, you know, necessarily decreased production is the right. I'm not sure. I just think it would look different. I think we'd need to actually like think seriously about like what it is that we are producing for and why, right? Which is to say, like having an honest sort of accounting about like what do we take to be basics? What do we take to be luxuries worth developing? We'd be producing more video games. Hey, preach. I'm here for it. If in the fully automated luxury what's the phrase? You know it. Fully automated luxury communism. Why did the sound go out? Give me 1 second. And I literally can't stop to fix it right now. Okay, now I can. What? Hilarious. Yeah, in full luxury automated communism, presumably we'd have even more video games, and you know your boy would be beating the hell out of them. You know, I'd just be kicking ass. Would I be doing live streams in Communist Utopia? Probably. Because I like, you know, talking to you, the people, the salt of the earth, the true working class. I'm the working class whisperer. That's why I do live streams where I talk about the French reception of Hegel while playing hard video games. It's a real trust me, it does make sense moment. Right, come on. Okay, I need to get this. Very close. Very, very close. The timing is so tight, you know? And like, why does it work sometimes and not others is something I've actually like not been able to figure out here. Anyway, labor productivity is like at an all-time high. It's out of control. It's nuts. Fairly convinced that the problem isn't that we're insufficiently productive. It's also the most Protestant shit I can imagine. It's like, hey, we live in the most productive time ever with the greatest amount of fucking wealth ever. We have the complete capacity to satisfy all human needs, no questions asked. And for someone to be like, yeah, you know what? We should work harder. We should be working more. I don't know. I just take that to be kind of antithetical to, you know, what we're about as leftists, frankly. Like, the point is to work less, folks. We don't need to work this much. Of course, I think everyone would have to do a minimum to sustain the UBI, and I find that it's creativity that makes UBI more efficient. Yeah, presumably, again, people would do different kinds of labor under conditions where the totality of social production is organized around something other than capital accumulation. I think that a more, you know, I'm sorry to say this, right? This makes me sound like a fucking Soviet or something, but I think, you know, rationally planned economies are things that we need to think more carefully about. You know, leftists who give up on that front are making a mistake. You know, saying, you know, buying, for instance, a Hayekian argument that, like, the economy is just too complicated a machine to be planned. Like, and in certain ways, like, I guess, probably. In other ways, like, no. Like, well, why don't we actually just take seriously, like, okay, what kind of agricultural production needs to happen at what scale? There are, like, really exciting opportunities there for thoughtful, forward-thinking people to like develop meaningful policy. Do I think that COVID has contributed to that work mentality? Oh, that like pro-work mentality? Ooh, I don't know. I mean, from what I understand, like the people who I'm in dialogue with on this stuff like have been saying it for a long time. I think COVID actually was interesting in this regard because I think a lot of like actual working people realized in maybe a more explicit way than they had before how fucking meaningless most of the work that they do is. By which I mean like realizing that like, you know, if you've got a 9 to 5, how many hours of that do you actually have to spend working? Because when you're doing it from home on your computer, oh, actually I can get this done in like an hour and a half. It's like, ooh, a lot of that 8 hours is a waste actually. And what's that? You're still hitting your marks, your quotas, your lines, you know? Are you as productive as you need to be nevertheless? On top of which, what? How many hours in transit are you spending every day? It's a lot of lost time. It's a deeply inefficient system, in fact. So one of the things that's been interesting has been seeing people like come back from COVID, or, you know, we're still in the middle of a fucking pandemic, by the way. It's not as though we solved any of these problems. We've just decided to give up and basically abandon, especially immunocompromised and disabled people. I guess the imperatives of capital accumulation are just that important. But a lot of people are like, no, I'm not going back into in person. I've like heard people have arguments with like their employers about this, which I think are fascinating, right? People recognizing that the old exigencies, the old way of doing things is kind of arbitrary and pointless. Zizek likes talking about economic planning. I'm not aware of the arguments. Yeah, I think he's right in general if he's out here saying we need to, as leftists, think more about economic planning. But I don't know his line on this. I haven't read that. Damn it. So hard. How many times do y'all think I died here? It's gonna be hundreds. Can I name says, don't know about Zizek, but I've read an interesting article recently about taking inspiration from wartime economies of the US and especially UK when facing crises like climate change. Love to share it here, but don't know that it's available online since it was in a German newspaper. Yes. Andreas Malm writes about this, actually. He has been writing about war communism in this regard. As something that we should think about. And he's also like a climate Leninist, which I think is fun. He thinks, probably correctly, that it will be necessary to seize the state in order to actually avoid the worst outcomes of climate change. Because the state's not going to curtail carbon emissions nearly quickly enough. Left to its own devices, it's too captured by private interests like those of fossil capital. And that, yeah, large-scale planning is actually required in order, again, to respond to this. I mean, look at fucking Pakistan right now. Like 40% of the country's underwater. Something like 40 million people have been displaced. Like, it's, you know, this is kind of also why I like to go way back to a question asked before about, like, you know, I was asked about the Invisible Committee and sort of anarchism, and I'm just like, I don't know, man, like, you know, have a cool little insurrectionary commune, have a good, you know, have a nice little enclave, carve out a space for yourself to develop an alternative form of life. I think we need state scale organizations of power materially in order to respond to some of these problems. I just do. I don't think that there's any version of, you know, doing small scale local grassroots, you know, commune building that is either adequate or even appropriate to talk about in the context of something like what's happening in Pakistan right now, you know? But do share it, though. Please do share whatever that is, even if it isn't a German newspaper. I'd love to take a look at that. Dumb. Missed. So dumb. Such a dumb thing to miss on right there. This is easily the hardest one. I mean, I guess, you know, of the ones that I've done so far, I've only done 1, 2, and 3, and this is 3, of course, it's the hardest. But like, I'm just not consistent on it at all. I can't believe I haven't figured out how to consistently get through this first sequence yet. Need not to rush. MDR says, is the saying never meet your heroes just an anecdotal truism, or is there philosophical truth to it? Ever been burned before by someone you used to consider a hero of yours in the past? I don't think it is much more than a cliche. I don't know, some people who you might... I think really what that maybe speaks to more than anything is our tendency to idolize people who then maybe like of necessity won't be able to live up to your expectations because you've constructed like, you know, a mythic representation that, you know, actual reality is never going to really satisfy. On the other hand, I don't know, sometimes you meet people who you look up to and it's like, yeah, they're great. Turns out they were cool. I was right. That happens too. People don't talk about that as much. I think it's less fun to talk about in a certain way, but like, I don't know, some people just are cool. They are good. Again, I don't have any consistency here. Awful. I might have to bail on this one, you guys. I'm like starting to not have fun with this level. Oh. Okay. No. I'm doing it. I'm sorry. I can't do it anymore. This level is killing me. How many times did I die? Oh, 216 deaths for nothing. All right, chapter 4, Seaside. You asked if I had ever been burned by someone I consider to be a hero. The answer personally is no. That's never happened to me. Oh, do I have 2? No? So this is expecting me to use these techniques. Okay, this song is fantastic. Okay. Okay, you know, we're getting there. Oh, yeah. All right, that's one screen down. Oh, of course it's going to be one of these. Okay, let's see what we're looking at here. Okay. Okay. That doesn't seem so bad. Why is this going to be as bad as it is? I'm sure it will be. Okay, wait. So I'm going to get on it, jump across. Okay, I'm actually not sure how. I'm looking at it and I don't know how physically it is possible. Okay, well, let's go. Pretty tight timing on this, huh? Ooh. This isn't gonna work. Come on. Wow. Okay. Wild. Wait, did it say who? This sounds like Disaster Piece. Knife Dog asks, from teaching this semester, yes, I am teaching international business ethics at Loyola. It's already begun. So far, it's really good. It's going well. This upcoming week, we will be reading kind of foundational text in... Ooh, so close. Foundational text in what's come to be called stakeholder theory, right? This like alternative conception of ethical or moral obligation for corporate managers than the sort of standard shareholder approach, as best expressed by everyone's favorite short king, Milton Friedman. Close. It's not the most exciting material, but it's fine. I've actually been thinking about, this is maybe going to get me in trouble, but I've been thinking about if I ever get out of business ethics adjuncting world, because that's where I've been for about 4 years now. Ooh, come on. Marx and Engels, his philosophers always made me feel inadequate as academic, but you make me better. I hope you meant feel better. Don't feel inadequate. That sucks. Anyway, what I was about to say was that who's got moves? All right, this ought to be a nightmare. Screen 3, let's go. Cool. Weird. You make me a better thinker. Good. I'm glad for that. I'm glad to have a positive impact. What? There it is. It's right there. The heart is right there. I just gotta grab it, you know? I would like to do more research, as I was just about to say, on and exploring the history of business ethics as a discipline. Because preliminary research preliminary research indicates, just from what I've seen, that basically the discipline of business ethics gets off the ground in the 70s and 80s in the United States, where it begins essentially, as a direct response to the fact that Americans were dissatisfied with companies profiting from the military-industrial complex, and realizing that internationally, American companies were responsible for quite a fair bit of harm, actually. And so I know of at least a couple early business ethics symposia were literally funded by Department of Defense initiatives in seeking to develop conceptual tools and resources for effectively laundering the image of American industrial capital, which is pretty cool and fun. And like I said, this is only like scratching the surface here. I'd like to do a lot more research about that stuff to find out how to write a book about it. I'm going to write against business ethics at some point. I actually think it is sort of silly. I don't know. All right, let's find out. Okay, great. Ton of wind. Wow. Tough gig, teaching people to be ethical in businesses while their competitors have long ago sold their souls to get ahead. This is the basic problem. In MDR, you've put your finger exactly on the pulse. When it comes to ethics in contemporary conditions of capital accumulation, this is why Marxism is correct, right? And why il faut être marxiste, why you've got to be a fucking Marxist, is that, like, he says himself in the preface to Capital One, he's like, this isn't a moral argument. You cannot think that, like, what I am trying to say here is that, like, this is because of the bad guy capitalist guys, right? No. Everyone's hands are tied here. We are, all of us, subject to effectively objective constraints from social production. And as soon as there is, like, market competition, this sort of thing starts to happen in hand-forced sorts of ways. In other words, yeah, good, go be ethical. Guess what? That places you at competitive disadvantage every time. Anytime you are acting in an ethical way in the world of finance or business, or, by the way, environmentally conscious is the same thing, right? Like, greening up your capitalism is great, but it often places you at immediate and direct competitive disadvantage, which means, you know how the story goes, you get undersold by your competitors who are able then to, like, defeat you in the market, either capture your market share or absorb you. And guess what? They're back to doing it their way, or they never fucking stopped. So, in ethics and moral philosophy, there's like a category called like supererogatory. This is to say, what is done that is right or virtuous in excess of one's duty, right? And in excess of the minimum requisite for you to be able to say that you're being a good or moral person, you can go above and beyond, and that's supererogatory. Now, the problem is that, again, like, leaving it up to that, right? Leaving things like effective environmental, oh my gosh. I wasn't ready for that. Leaving it up to individuals to, like, do better or whatever is silly. And this is part of why, is that, like, we're dealing with situations where competition means that, like, it will not be a generalizable result. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm done. Fuck. Wow, that was so wild. Move, the wind is so fast. Oh, one of you said, Knife Dog said you read a piece on the history of medical ethics as a profession recently. Interesting. What did you learn? Share with the class. Also, I saw that Can I Name found the piece by Ulrich Hermann, and that they'll share the link. Appreciate it. Thank you. Brutal. And I just missed the cloud. Oh my gosh. Wow. It's so fast. This one's so fast. Wait, what comes after? And then there's like a bunch of increasingly tiny little platforms, right? Okay, I need to get... Weird. Okay. I need to get through. So I did that right. That then over. Presumably go right on it. Fall. Dash upright. Try to catch it. Jump to the other side. Okay. Nightmare. This is nightmarish. It's very demanding. Very demanding. Yeah, that's the way. That's what you gotta do. Which is arguing that it exists to justify denying life-saving treatment to patients and conceal the fundamental problem, which is lack of resources. Weird! Yeah, I don't like being as jaded as I often am. But, you know, you learn stuff like this sometimes, and it's like, yeah, well, that does seem to be the world we live in. It's one of those things too where, like, I don't know, there are indeed like complicated questions in biomedical ethics, but a lot of the time I'm like, I don't know, it seems pretty simple. Give the people the things that they need and don't put them into crushing debt for it. Come on. Like, I know that there are interesting questions about patient autonomy, for instance, but like as a question of like right to care or access, like everything should just be universal and unconditional. I don't understand how there's ever any debate about this. And again, if there's a lack of resources, this is because production is taking place under the directive not of ensuring that we have sufficient medical supplies for everyone, but because it's being done in order to turn a profit. It's as simple as that 99% of the time. I'm afraid I'm a broken record, but what are you going to do? Can someone look this up? We're playing the level chapter 4 Seaside. I want to know who made this remix because it sounds like Disaster Piece, but I can't be sure. Let's go. Oh, I got excited. I started celebrating too early. The wind is so fast. Let me figure out how to get that. I hesitated. And if you hesitate, you die. Hesitation is defeat. Oh, I was so close. I was so close. Very close. Come on. Come on. Hilarious. I actually have a friend who works in the medical ethics office of a private hospital. He didn't deny that argument, but he did insist that ethicists do push back against hospital admin on policy. I'm sure they do. Of course they do. No, look, and listen, even vis-a-vis business ethics, which I'm pretty cynical about, right? Like, I don't have any doubt that, like, lots of the people who are in these conversations mean very well. You know, I'm teaching Dennis Arnold next week. He's one of the main names in contemporary business ethics. And, like, I am sure that he wants to see more ethical business practices implemented. He wants to see companies and corporations, you know, on board better and more comprehensive CSR, corporate social, like CSO initiatives and better, you know, ethical environmental policy, better labor practice. Like, I'm sure. I just think that there's a little bit of barking up the wrong tree. Um, in a hospital, it might be different. Or again, like, sometimes people like, are consultants for corporations. I'm sure that, like, yeah, a lot of these people want to see things improve. I just think that a lot of this is what I meant before about like needing to be a Marxist. I just like think that like there's an insufficient reckoning with the material dynamics of a capitalist market economy that leads people to have effectively idealist ideas about what is possible and necessary, like what can be done under what conditions. And I just think that ideas of like voluntary compliance with ethical norms is basically silly under these conditions. It's basically silly. I think this is why I think like strong regulatory mechanisms are required. His job sounds like a nightmare though. With COVID and now Roe repealed, they are basically at war with the legal wing of the hospital. I'm sure that's true. It sounds horrible. Okay, let's go. Ah, so close. Wait, maybe I don't need to do that. Maybe I can fall. Okay. Yeah, that sounds horrible. I mean, too, you gotta figure, like, just about everybody who gets into medicine does so because they, like, actually want to save lives. And then it's like, what? You're telling me that, in fact, my job is to, like... Okay, hold on. Oh! We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it, kids. Yeah, who gets into medicine for reasons other than to help people? Then it turns out that, like, the day-to-day of your job is, like, figuring out how to, like, allocate scarce resources and decide who fucking dies because they don't have a good enough insurance policy. That's awful. But this is, capital makes even the noble profession of saving lives into a hellish compromise with one's own moral code. It's not easy. This is not easy, I know. The winds are blowing. Close, I'm close. I like how this level, when you like get it, like it happens so fast. Like here we go. Don't hesitate, no hesitation, no surrender. Boom. That's right. That's right. Okay. Pretty good. Hey, let's call it there. That's a satisfying place to call our night. Appreciate all of you for coming. I don't know when I'll do this again, but this was fun. Thanks for your questions and comments. I hope you all take care of yourselves out there. Look forward to our next episode dropping next Monday. We got a special guest. I can tease it up. We'll be having Crane joining us to discuss Gillian Rose's book Hegel Contra Sociology. Looking forward to that. And otherwise, yeah, take care. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye.